Okay. They made the emotional one do this, so good luck to all of you.
You got it, Jill. Okay.
On behalf of Mike, Lindsay, Tina, Scott, Rob, Deb, Nano's 7 grandchildren and 2 beloved granddogs, thank you for being here on this beautiful, sunshine-filled, and hot, which happened to be Nano's favorite temperature, day. We're pretty sure she ordered this whole week. I began writing these words less than 6 months to the day that our world turned upside down. I wanted to write them while my mom was still with us, but knowing that our time with her had become finite. Who knew that it would be 21 months of fighting before we would lose her? We are forever grateful for the time we got with her. My mom was the most selfless person I know. I learned many things from her, but giving was likely the biggest lesson I learned. In the last 2 years, we watched her learn how to knit and then proceed to knit scarves for everyone she knew, and many she didn't, including homeless and students of mine that may not have gifts at Christmas for their moms. She said to me one day, "If I made someone smile today, it was a good day for me, Jilly." Growing up, Lindsay and I were always in awe at all the people we would run into that raved about having our mom for a teacher. When we were younger, it was minorly mortifying. As we became adults, we continue to run into people that when they learn who our mom is, have only wonderful things to say about her. As we sat with our mom in her final days, Lindsay looked at her and said, "Mom, how many people could make it to this day not having one enemy?" And that was our mom. After she was diagnosed, she began to go through her things, and I would show up at the house to get 6 Tupperware bins to take home with me. And one night I was going through one of the bins I had received, and there was a binder filled from cover to cover with thank you notes from parents and students, letters with recognitions my mom had received over her 40-year career as a teacher. I called her up and I said, "Mom, I'm so proud of you. I didn't even know about any of this." She goes, "Yep, that was nice." Our mom was not a big fan of attention on herself, but she did love Valentine's Day. I remember the first time I realized that perhaps not everybody in the world celebrated Valentine's Day like our family did. The Hartman would come, and it was bigger than Christmas in our house. But once again, I learned only as an adult that every year she had chosen someone she knew that needed something special to be done for them, and she would do something for them. Now, Lindsay and I have not always been the biggest fans of the days of love, but in Nano's house, there was no getting around it. And all of my college friends could tell you by the size of the box that was delivered for Valentine's Day, it was no joke. Valentine's Day will always be a day that we will celebrate the love our mom gave the world. When it comes to emotion, Nano was not a big fan, kind of like my sister. However, the polar opposite of me, as when we were in the hospital and Lindsay and Nan were remarking about me, my mom looked at me and said, "I mean, seriously, Jill, you cry out taking out your recycling." We've often described her to others as the most deeply feeling person you'll never see cry. Also kind of like my sister, but Lindsay is slowly but surely coming to my side. Although we witnessed her tears, it wasn't often, and we've always said that it was because she felt so deep that if she let herself go there, it would hurt her heart just too much. Lindsay and I would always roll her eyes when her response to whatever the problem would be was, "Tomorrow will be better." That phrase that Lindsay and I now carry with us as a tattoo in her handwriting defines who our mom was. Always positive, always finding the good, and always believing the best. And although we lived a very long life filled with thousands of memories to share about our mom, it will always be the last year of her life that we cherish most. Ironic to say such a thing as that year was filled with knowing we were losing her. However, the reason it was the best was because of the following. We learned how to handle life's adversity with nothing but an enormous amount of grace. As I'm sure all of you witnessed from the outside, our mom handled her diagnosis with an attitude like no other. She never got angry. She always said someone had it worse than her. Even on the day she was told there was nothing more they could do for her life last week and that her time had come. The thing is, it wasn't a show she put on for those that saw her from the outside. That was really her. I even asked her once, as Lindsay and I have not necessarily met this reality with as much ability to not be angry and sad. I said, Mom, why don't you ever get angry? This sucks. She said, yes, it sucks, Jilly. Life isn't always fair. But what am I gonna do? And so many people have it worse than me. The gift of the last year was the way we chose to handle it. We took time that we previously didn't, because life gets in the way, to be together. We told stories, we looked at pictures, and we laughed. If there was anything my mom loved most, it was to belly laugh. We'll never forget the texts to make sure we were home safe if we had been out for the evening, the notes in our lunches growing up, the ridiculous amount of food and treats she made us, how amazing she was as a grandmother, all of the people that loved her for a teacher, and all of the people that just loved her in general. It's difficult to write something like this, wanting to encompass in a few words for a few moments the most amazing person in the center of your world. You want to do justice to a lifetime of giving and loving, and nothing seems like enough for the right words. What we do know is that everyone that knew her loved her. Everyone she touched in some way was better off for having known her. We just feel lucky because she was our mom. I've learned in my life that it's okay to not be okay. I'm not okay with having lost my mom, and I'm not okay with my daughters not getting to have their amazing grandmother for more of their lives. However, we do know that tomorrow will be better than today, because that's what our mom always said, and tomorrow we will start to heal. We will begin our new normal of not being able to call her and hear her voice, but we will honor the person she was in the way we live. My sister paid me the nicest compliment I have ever received the night before our mom died. We were sitting with her, our hearts breaking, but completely overwhelmed with the kindness somebody showed us in the moments, and honestly throughout our entire journey. Someone that I worked with for a very short amount of time several years ago sent me the kindest message. I looked at my sister and said, I couldn't believe that someone that I knew for such a short amount of time said such nice things to me. My sister looked at me and she said, it's because of your mom, Jill. That's why she said that. Never could I imagine a compliment greater than being compared to the most selfless, kind woman my mom was. And I will spend the rest of my life trying to be the best parts of her. It would not be acceptable for me to not recognize the above and beyond stellar care my mom and our entire family received at the Aurora Cancer Center and Hospital. With almost 2 years of radiation and chemo at the Cancer Center and 2 rather traumatic stays at the hospital, it was the people that we interact with that lessened our pain, brought us comfort, and made some exceptionally difficult times a little less difficult. Honestly, we don't have words. Dr. Shama, her oncologist, and Michelle Spring, her nurse navigator, became parts of our family. The many nurses we came into contact with in both of our hospital stays and helped us through the end of our mom's life were exceptional. The words thank you are not enough, but we thank all of them with everything we have. Never for our entire lives will we forget what you did for our family and the exceptional care and love you gave to our mom. Thank you to each and every one of you for everything you were to our mom and are to us. Your kind words and being there for us has made this heartbreaking experience a little easier. And please know, to those of you that were friends of our mom, she loved you so much. We knew all of your names, your families, everything about you because she asked. The wonderful, fun times you had with her because she told us about you all of the time. Everyone loved our mom. People that met her for mere minutes loved her. We know why. She chose kindness, she chose laughter, and she spent all of her moments choosing to make the lives she came into contact with better. It cost her nothing, and it brought her all the joy in the world. We have the power to make the choice in our day-to-day life to make another life easier and better, whether it be a kind word, a gesture, or an act of kindness. Our mom made that choice every day of her life. even at the very end, when the doctor had to tell her that there was nothing more they could do for her and this was going to be the end, she looked at him and said, this must be so this must be so hard for you to have to tell me this. I'm so sorry. To be clear, Nano always kept her sense of humor until the very end. There was a moment before she was going to go to sleep that Lindsay and I looked at her. We had already said everything we needed to say, but we said it again. And then we said, Ma, you're really, lucid right now. Is there anything you'd like to tell us? And we're both sitting on the edge of her bed with, like anticipating what this message was going to be. And she looked at us and she said, I'm pretty. We proceeded to say, really? Mom, that's what we're gonna get? And she goes, yup. That was the end of that. So Lindsay and I have one thing to ask of you all as you leave here today. Choose to live like our mom did. Make others laugh and make life easier for others. Be kind. Something that might seem small to you can make all the difference to someone else. The greatest way you could choose to honor our Nano is to choose to live as she did. Thank you.